We are 5 days away from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, and of course, we weren't going to get there without more rumors coming out about things we are going to see in that Direct. And one of the most speculated and talked about things has been that mysterious C button. And yes, we can officially call it a C button because, as we stated in our video yesterday, Nintendo put out a piece of media with the Nintendo Today app that showed it is indeed a C button on that right orange Joy-Con. Now, setting that aside, we got to dive into the rumor about what that thing actually is. We finally have one, not speculation, someone claiming to actually know what it is based on their own sources, someone with a track record who we have covered in the past. And we're going to find out right quick if this person knows what they're talking about. Before we dive in, though, I want to remind you we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 literally right now. Just go to that link down in the description or in the pinned comment. It's going to take you to a viral sweep. I really appreciate you guys entering that if you would like. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and dive right in. So this guy, Xtis, he is a fellow content creator and leaker who has leaked a number of things that have been right in the past and also wrong in the past. And they're saying they know this about the C button. According to Xtis One's sources, one of the functions of the C button of the Switch 2 is that you will be able to use it to connect the Switch 2 with Switch 1, and you can use Switch 1 as a controller or screen for Switch 2 games. Now, this sounds awfully familiar to a cast-like feature that has been talked about in the past, but a lot of that centered around, maybe holding the Switch 2 in your hand and casting to the dock or the TV. And I'll just show you guys that this is where it came from, this video right here in this section. And he actually gave an example that his source gave him, and it would be something like, okay, if you're using Mario Kart 9 and a friend comes over and wants to play Mario Kart 9 with you, and they happen to have their Switch, they could play with you, and the game would beam from like the dock to the Switch 1 that your friend has for player 2. So instead of it going split screen, they could actually play on their own screen. Now, this is something that was able to be done on a Wii U in the past, although sparingly, as it had to be built into each individual game. Most games didn't actually function that way, so it's kind of interesting to see that it sounds like very Wii U-like, but the way described for the use case isn't really Wii U, because Wii U was off TV play or like inventory management kind of stuff. A few multiplayer games where you had like the Dungeon Master with the gamepad and everyone else playing with Wiimotes, but in the end, it was mostly not used in this way, where you could have a player 1 with a controller on the TV and a player 2 with the gamepad playing off TV to get rid of split screen mode. That wasn't really a popular thing on Wii U. So this is something that is not actually like Wii U. What's also interesting about this is this could be something used technically for like DS and 3DS. If you dock your Switch 2 and still own your Switch 1, you could beam to your Switch 1 and maybe have that 2-screen gameplay. I guess that is a possible functionality based on what's being described here, but I obviously don't know what's going on. It's kind of a wild day out there, a wild, wild west in terms of what's going on with that C button. I've been on record many times that I don't believe it is related to a cast feature. And I also want to note, because look, we'll find out in 5 days, less than 5 days at this point, if this guy's right about this, because he also put on a rumor last week that, the Metroid Prime 4 would not be in the Switch 2 Direct. So, those are two very, very interesting ones. One that I think people want to be true, another one that people don't want to be true. And sorry, I was taking a moment here because I also wanted to briefly mention the reason I'm wearing my Zelda hat and we got some Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, whatever in the background, is because Nintendo used the Nintendo Today app to announce that the live-action Zelda film is going to release on March 26, 2027. This was announced exclusively through the Nintendo Today app. They haven't posted it on any other social media, so a lot of us other content creators and media are putting it out there for you guys that maybe you don't have access to the Nintendo Today app, because it turns out the Nintendo Today app is not available in every area, and also today, due to popularity, the Nintendo Today app crashed for a while. So the app is apparently very, very popular, but Nintendo's having a hard time handling that server load with whatever company they're using to help host the app. Anyways, Nintendo will probably get that sorted out, and they got to be thrilled that they had enough users to actually crash the application. So anyways, getting back into the C button stuff, I obviously have been on record And I don't think it's for a cast feature. And I understand it has a letter C on it. It could make sense. But I have this thing where requiring a $200 minimum with a Switch Lite accessory to even take advantage of a button added to your Switch 2, to me, it seems very unlikely. This presents like that Wii U problem where you have to have like this big thing in addition to your system. Now, I understand with the Wii U, the gamepad came with, but we're talking about not a tablet. We're talking about an entire gaming system you have to have available. And I do think it's a neat feature to have if a friend has a Switch and brings it over, or if you happen to have a spare Switch laying around. But to be so core to the system that there's a literal button on the Joy-Cons and Pro controllers, that to me is what's weird. Like, if this was just a feature hidden in the menus, like, okay, cool, but that's not what they're claiming. Exodus is claiming this is a feature that's core to the system, and at least one of the uses, maybe he's teasing there's more than one use of that C button. Again, this is a rumor, and we always have to remember that a lot of what we talked about really pretty much the last 4 years, or really 3 years, about Nintendo Switch 2, 4 years if we go back to the Pro stuff, a lot of it's just been rumors and reports from places that are unverified that no one can really tell. Like, there's corroboration sometimes with different outlets, but nobody really knows outside of those outlets who the sources are. And that's kind of how it works, right? I've had sources myself. I know some game devs. Yeah, you can't reveal your sources right or wrong. So I understand, but we're getting to the point where we obviously want tangible things. And so putting a rumor out at this point, 5 days away, and if it's wrong, oh man, that's not a good look. To put this rumor out there, get people fever dreaming this close to the Direct, really would just feel like a call for attention if it's wrong. I mean, remember, the person also said Metroid Prime 4 won't be at the Direct, and if Metroid Prime 4 is there, then what the hell were they doing saying it wouldn't be? So this is one of those things where I don't want to cast doubt on this fellow content creator. I just want to present skepticism. I don't always do a good job showing skepticism with rumors, but I think it's maybe just because we're so damn close, right? When we're 5 days away, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'll report on the stuff because we'll find out very soon if it's true or not. But also, maybe with this one, I just don't want it to be. I like the idea. The idea sounds nice on the surface. It really, really does. But one of the issues I have with gaming today is couch gaming, like playing with your friends, has kind of gone away. There's still some couch co-op games, and Split Fiction came out, one of the best games of the year, which is a couch co-op game. But it still requires both players to sit on the couch and, look at the same screen and interact with each other. One thing I don't like about how this feature was described is if I have like Eric from the Nintendo Prime podcast over to play some Mario Kart 9, he's going to be staring down into his own screen, kind of living in his own world separate from me, which isn't really any different than just playing with him online. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's technically physically in the same room, but we're probably interacting less. He's probably sitting not even next to me. He's probably off in the corner, or maybe he takes a switch to the bathroom and keeps playing, and that's fine, but that kind of defeats the purpose of playing in person. There's something special about everyone gathering around a screen with a controller and playing on the same screen. There just is something special about split screen and quad screen gaming that is lost in this everyone gets their own screen world, because we already live in that world. We walk around with devices like this in our pocket every single day. We already live a huge chunk of our days in our own world on individual screens. Couch co-op gaming, couch gaming, multiplayer gaming, to me, like when I get the family together and we play Mario Party, it gets us all interacting and goofing around and sitting on the same couch and having fun together. And if everyone just has their own screen, in theory, you don't even need to be in the same room anymore. And I feel like that just takes away. It just turns it back into being online gaming all over again. But I get the benefits with the DS and 3DS stuff. I get the benefits of like something like Zombie U coming back and maybe being really cool again. I understand it, but I don't think this is the feature, but I can't rule it out because Exodus is fairly reliable. And there's been patents about casting and stuff in the past with Nintendo, so who the hell knows? All I know is we'll find out in 5 days. Well, I'm not super excited about this and hope it's not true. Maybe some of you guys hope it is. And if so, that is totally fine. Nintendo doesn't need to cater to just my desires. They have a huge audience to consider, and you guys are a huge part of it. And look, individually, when I'm still playing games by myself, it's not really going to be a big deal. But I do kind of worry about having some of that taken away. Last time I remember doing individual screen gaming on one screen sort of thing was was a Game Boy Advance hooked up to the GameCube for Four Swords Adventures. But the difference was, while we would still get in our own worlds and our GBAs, we would all come back together again on the TV. So it still felt very collaborative, and you had to be wired into the console, right? So you couldn't just go to a different room. I don't know. That's just the way I'm thinking right now. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're really excited about this, that's totally fine. Let me know why you're excited. And you know what, guys? I'll catch you in the next video.